Peter Adams is with us and Bruce Albiston, and they are both here to talk about this great organization. And in addition, we're going to talk about an event that's happening here at Sugarloaf. Welcome, Peter.
Thank you, Greg. Great
You
to
are
be here.
the executive director, and of course, Bruce is.
Yeah, Bruce is a board member of Maine Adaptive and a volunteer par excellence, and the inspiration behind the festival that we are currently enjoying here at Sugarloaf that started last night that we'll talk more about.
Fantastic. Now, let's talk about the organization firstly. What you do, and how you do it, and how it's funded.
Yeah. We're a 32-year-old organization. We started as Maine Handicap Skiing at the other ski area in Maine, Sunday River. And we've been growing since our founding. We started outdoor summer stuff about 15 years ago, and about that same time we started a small program at Sugarloaf. And today we are both here and at Sunday River. We do a little bit at Black Mountain. We're partnering with Camden, so we're trying to be more places and serving more people
Sure.
with physical disabilities than ever before. We serve people ages 4 and up with permanent physical disabilities. We have over 500 people that we have served in the last year.
Wow.
We changed our name 2 years ago from the Maine Handicap Skiing to Maine Adaptive Sports and Recreation to really reflect what we've become, which
More
is a
inclusive,
year-round. And the adaptive word really captures what we do. It's a spirit of figuring out how to embrace an obstacle and work with it to get people out on the trails or whatever else we're doing in terms of activities like kayaking and skiing and fishing, hiking, kayaking, canoeing, and golf.
Wow.
So a lot of activities year round.
So it's grown leaps and bounds from where the initial organization started. Huh?
It has.
Yeah.
It has, and it's. We're by far and away the largest adaptive program in the country that has remained free.
Oh.
So one of our real hallmarks is everybody comes in the front door and we provide lessons, equipment, lift passes,
Wow.
and that's through the generosity of Boyne. Boyne has become the operator of Sunday River and Sugarloaf. We get over $250,000 a year of in-kind support from Boyne to provide lift tickets both here and at Sunday River, which is a huge
Oh, that's great.
piece of how
Yeah.
we're able to stay free.
So when you say free, someone pays for this. How does the funding all come for this?
100% of our top line, our revenue, is from donations.
Wow.
And we have a major event called the Ski-a-thon. We do that at Sunday River, but have a lot of involvement from people at Sugarloaf as well. So we have that. We have a Sugarloaf Social, which comes up on March 1st here at Sugarloaf.
Right,
our fifth
annual event.
annual. Yep.
Yeah.
And that raises some money. And we have an annual campaign, and then we have some corporate donors. And a big part of my job is going out there and finding the money to sustain this wonderful program.
Right. And you do an awful lot for an awful lot of people. And how do they get more information if someone's interested in the organization, and how can they get involved?
Yeah. MaineAdaptive.org is our website address, and we've just revamped the website so it's very user-friendly and intuitive to navigate through that. They could also call 207-824-2440 is our main number. And here at Sugarloaf, you're going to see on Monday, on the weekends, on Saturdays and Sundays, and through Thursday this week, you'll see a lot of red jackets on the hill with a big, bold Maine Adaptive on the back. And I would encourage people to just come up and talk to any one of our volunteers to find out more about it, or see us in the King Pine Room where
Right.
we're booting up in the morning first thing.
So that's where everyone starts off their day, booting up in the morning, and then going to have some great skiing. Will it just be skiing, or will you be enjoying the outdoor center?
Oh, there'll be more than that, and I probably ought to kick it over to Bruce to talk more about the specifics of the festival. This is called the New England Visually Impaired Festival, NEVI Fest, and this is the third year.
Third year.
And I'd like to just point out that this was a completely volunteer-initiated endeavor. In fact, a quick story. It was 3 years ago. Bruce came into my office and said, "You know what? I've got this vision for doing this blind festival, and you, Peter, are not going to have to lift a finger. We'll take care of everything." True story. And that's really how this event has evolved. Bruce and these wonderful Sugarloaf volunteers took this thing on and have done everything from soup to nuts. They've raised money for it. They do all of the logistics, and there are a lot of those. He was able to recruit some wonderful speakers that you'll get to meet in the next segment. And so Bruce is a rock star when it comes to this event. So this is his baby, and I think he deserves to be the one really to share with the audience more about that.
What was the inspiration? And you just came to you one day, you had an epiphany that I'd like to do this festival. And
I was skiing with one of our participants, and we were just talking on the lift, what can we do to create a new experience for people, visually impaired or blind, that is different from what we offer now. And, through the series of a lot of lift rides, we kind of came up with the idea that let's do a week-long festival and create the resort experience for these kids to come up and spend a week like so many of us have been able to enjoy, during our lives. So, and again, we went to Peter and we said, you won't have to do a thing, which was music to his ears. And so then we were off and running. And, the mountain here, Sugarloaf, has been a tremendous support. The people here are great to work with. Our volunteers, we have 70-plus volunteers, and most of them will be here for the whole week. They actually take vacation time to join. It's a very special event. And we'll have about 25 participants this year. We do learn to ski, and the skiers of all levels, all ages. We've had them from 4 years old to 81 years old. They've been coming from all over the country: Texas, Florida, New Jersey, New York.
Interesting. So people from around the country come to take advantage of this.
Yes, it's the power of the web.
Yes, indeed.
And getting our mission, our message out there. And it's been, it's a lot of fun meeting some of these people from different places, and it creates a really unique atmosphere for the kids here. They get to meet, people from other places and talk about their experiences and, how the challenges they have in life. And a lot of friendships are formed.
Sure.
And they stay in touch. And there's a couple of romances going on out of it too. So it's we're a full service program.
I can see that. Yeah, that's great.
But we have a lot of fun, and as Peter said, we encourage anybody out there to come over to the King Pine Room. We're always looking for people to help out and volunteer.
I was going to say 70 volunteers, but you probably could use even more, couldn't you?
Oh, we have a need for volunteers. We had a very busy day yesterday, and we could use more people. Anybody that comes and skis with us for a morning, they're hooked, because it's a wonderful experience, and it's like one you'll have no other place.
Do you need a special skill set to be a volunteer?
No, as long as you can strap on a pair of skis, we'll take you from there. We'll help you improve your skiing, and we will do all the training. We have a tremendous group of instructors, a lot of PSIA certified people in our organization, and there's a tremendous amount of talent. And a lot of people are also involved in the medical field. Some people are parents of people with disabilities. So it's a tremendous group of people, and it's a wonderful experience.
Well, we're glad you're here at Sugarloaf, and Sunday River's a nice place too, but we're glad you're here and experience this great mountain here, and the warmth of all the people that are here too. The people are very special here at Sugarloaf.
Very special.
Well, thank you very much for sharing that. We're going to talk about this event some more, and we're going to meet some very interesting people. Eric and Randy are going to come and speak with us in just a moment, so we'll take a quick break. Is Eric Weinmeier and Randy Pierce. Welcome to the program to both of you.
Thanks for having us.
I understand you had a big night out at the Rack last night, and had a chance to touch a whole lot of people, didn't you?
So I was Eric's doing, so I'll tell it from his audience, because he's probably a little more humble, but it's fantastic, right? I mean, his experiences and his approach to life and his connection with the world around, not just a challenged community, but the community in general, about believe and achieve, and all of those great messages really hit home to everyone in that room.
Wow. And I understand that, Eric, you've although you're humble, you've done some incredible things. Maybe you can share some of those with us, some of the experiences that you've had.
Yeah, I'm a climber and an adventurer. I've been around the world. I've climbed the 7 summits, the tallest peak in every continent, and I love skiing. Skiing is just one of my favorite things to do. I learned late skiing. I was a late bloomer. I learned at maybe 28 years old, so I'm out with the friend who taught me how to ski and my guide for 17 years, Jeff Ulrich. And Jeff and I were teaching a clinic yesterday to some of the Maine adaptive volunteers to teach them our technique for guiding blind skiers. So we had about 20 people out with us all day yesterday, and we had an absolute blast.
Wow. So tell us,
Some of the volunteers got to guide me. I was the guinea pig.
what are some of those techniques? Is there anything that you can share with us?
Yeah, sometimes guides are behind their blind skiers, but Jeff gets out in front of me, and he's essentially saying turn a left, turn a right. He breaks a turn into 3 parts, 3 syllables: the initiation, the middle, and the finish of the turn, so that it helps a blind skier kind of understand what a round turn feels like, and what it, and then I'm also listening to Jeff skis in front of me, and he's modeling good turns and the speed and kind of turn he wants to make. So it's a really nice technique that we use.
Now, was there a little bit of trepidation at first, or a little bit of fear in embarking on skiing when you first started? Was there a little hesitation? And
I don't know about for you, Randy, but for me there definitely was. I was, it didn't come easy. All these sort of anti-intuitive things like lean down the mountain. Why would I ever do that? You know, just all these things that as a blind person you're like, I don't want to do that, So you're sort of breaking a lot out of your comfort zone, and also you're not being able to look around and see good skiers and model yourself after good skiers. So you have to sort of learn kinesthetically. You have to learn by the feel of things. So yeah, there's definitely some special techniques to teach a blind person how to ski.
It must be quite a thrill, though, once you have finally gotten it, and certainly there's a lot of trust with your guide, but there's got to be an awful freeing feeling as you're heading on down that mountain with the wind blowing on your face. And boy, it has to be a great time, isn't it?
So I think true on both fronts, the trust and the freedom.
Yeah.
If he was late into skiing, then I'm ancient into skiing, because last year at 46 years old, I took my first approach here.
I don't find that old.
So, but compared to 28, which he was calling old on me. And I didn't have the same fear aspect for a couple of reasons. I built up trust with partners in some of the other adaptive things I'm doing, my hiking, my running.
Right.
And that partner, Brent Bell, was with me at the start. So we sort of talked through it, and I knew that I like to believe in being a problem solver more than a risk taker. So if you've solved the problem already, if you feel that comfortable and that much trust, then it's easy to slip into it and just take it in stages. But the freedom, as a blind person, I always feel that I've been attached to a cane, a guide dog, a sighted guide, and you get out on the peak and there's nobody in 30 yards of me, because similar to Eric, I'm targeting my my sighted skier ahead of me. And so I've just got total freedom. I actually have to touch my poles to just see how fast I'm going sometimes.
Really?
Because you don't have a sense, right? You just feel that you're sliding.
Interesting, yeah. Yeah, it's a whole interesting concept. And it has to be, again, the trust has to be really there for your guide. And all the more reason to teach these great techniques. And I've never seen a guide ski in front of a skier before. So that's something that is new to me. And it sounds like it's a whole new technique, isn't it?
It's a different technique, and it's a minority technique, but we think it's really a good one, and so it's awesome for a guide to have lots of tricks up their sleeve to say, hey, I can do this, I can do that, I can try different things with their blind skier. But if people are out today, they'll hear Jeff out in front of me. Like the whole mountain can hear him pretty much as he's yelling commands.
We actually switched. Maine Adaptive has they have a little speaker pack they can put on the back of the guide, so that he's not bellowing as much. And the other advantage it has is if he turns to project his voice, which shoulder he turns affects how I hear that sound, and can mislead me or give me extra information. But with that speaker pack on the back, it was more consistent sound. I sort of like that a lot better.
Wow, that's interesting.
And we're going to try that out today too. I've heard about this, so we're pretty excited.
Yeah. Now, what about the lifts? Does it require any special loading technique for when you're out there skiing? How does that work?
So I found they've got it really down to a science here, and they had sort of to teach me to walk through it, and that's part of the process, right? Trust the people who've been doing the process for a while, and it comes up quick. But obviously you got to be quick into the position, and you want to hear when it's coming. I'm tall, I'm 6'4", so that lift is catching me mid-calf, right? So I got to be ready to get sitting too. Yeah. But it's the coming off the lift that to me is the hardest, because you're going to have a quick down, you're not going to have a lot of time to report, you're going to make sure your skis are up before you come into it. Yeah. And out there, not everybody's paying attention to the fact that there's a blind skier, so they might not be giving you that little extra space, and you really got to have that guide with you giving you some instructions quick.
Well, that's important to know as you're out there on the mountain today, and we're going to have a lot of people out there and enjoying it, to be cautious about that. How much of a distance is comfortable if somebody is approaching a guide and a skier?
I think that, like in regular skiing, I think that's going to differ between the person who's skiing. Some of us, in my beginning stages, probably needed a little more room.
Yeah.
And we're wearing these beautiful Nevi vests to kind of stand out pretty clearly when we're out there. But and I think that's the same judgment you give any skier. Watch and see their skill levels, and you know how much room you need to give them, I think.
Right. Well, I think you're going to enjoy the mountain as you did yesterday. Sugarloaf is a great mountain, and we've got some fresh snow for you. So that's a big bonus up here. We got an inch of snow and a little more coming down today. An inch doesn't sound like much, but we'll take it all.
Good coverage. Yeah.
Now, what kind of skis do you guys use? Do you have a preference? Is there a special ski that you're using, or is it just a regular downhill type of ski?
I'll let you take that
Yeah,
one.
I just
you
use
got more experience.
I just use a regular K2 aftershock. It's just I sometimes some blind people maybe ski with just, I don't know if this is true generally, but I ski with a little bit of a shorter ski, like kind of high 160s. Just because I don't really care about going super fast. I like to make turns, and I like to sort of feel like I'm making really fun carving turns. So yeah, just regular skis. But Maine Adaptive has all sorts of special equipment for different kinds of disabilities, whether they're mono skis or bi skis. So there is a lot of specialized adaptive equipment in the field.
Mm-hmm. That's great. And we're going to see quite a few people out there enjoying these great conditions out there, and we welcome Maine Adaptive here, and I know you're going to have a great time here because Sugarloaf's an awesome place. We're going to take a quick break, and can you stay with us just for a moment?
Sure.
We'll take a quick break. We'll come back with Eric Weinmuir and also Randy Pierce, and we'll be right back with more here on the Mountain Report. We're talking about Maine Adaptive, and who is this program right for? Is the question that I have.
A lot of people are going to ask, that's not right for me. I actually believe it's right for everyone because there's different components. Are you coming in here because you're a participant who's going to get this opportunity to feel the freedom, or are you somebody who's maybe going to be able to volunteer and support? And, I'm told by a lot of the volunteers, you receive almost as much, if not more, than you're given, because you get to witness some pretty incredible growth in opportunity and approach that they say affects their life for the rest of their world.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're talking about some of the challenges, and there's a lot of related challenges, is there not, Eric, when it comes to skiing and being a blind skier?
I think there's a lot of challenges. I mean, there's challenges for everyone in life, but challenges for a blind person in particular. I mean, just the fact of how do they get up here, How do they get up to the mountain? They don't drive. How do they connect with an organization like Maine Adaptive? They come here, maybe they've never skied before. They have no concept. Like when I started skiing, I had no idea of what even skiing looked like, except what the, beginning of Wide World of Sports looked like, when they were doing jump turns. So I was like, am I going to do that? That's the last thing I remembered when I could see. And then you meet a total stranger and you say, oh, I'm trusting you with my life.
Yeah, right.
And it's good. All right, let's go out there. And, so yeah, no, I think there are a lot of hurdles, and then trying to figure out how to learn to ski by just what somebody's trying to tell you what to do, get into this rhythm and this feel, and so no, I think there are a lot of challenges out there. That's why I think, when you see those folks out there skiing today, the guides and the blind people they're all pretty courageous, for somebody to say, yeah, I'm going to take this person and I'm going to have him trust me and put his life in my hands, and that's a lot of pressure. And then on this other side, the blind person is putting a lot of trust, and you're putting a lot of trust in the blind person to do what you tell them to do, and to kind of make sure you're a good team. So there's a lot going on out there, even though it may look simple.
A team, I think that's a key word right there.
100% it's a team.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a team. There's a lot of trust that happens. There's a lot of relationship building. And there's a lot of, once you ski together enough, you start to be able to read each other's minds, and you start to get comfortable with the way that they guide you, so that you're no longer thinking about them guiding you, you're actually thinking about becoming a better skier, and that's the ultimate goal.
And oh, wow. So that must feel good when you get to that point.
It's like a release.
Yeah.
You're no longer worried about, am I turning, left far enough or right? Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? You're starting to think about your turns.
And think about the language that's involved that you have to develop, because all of that partnership you develop with a team, learning what words mean what things and when to use them. And there's a lot of words that can mislead you into what you do. And now think about when that guide that you use all the time, maybe he's not available this weekend.
Right.
And you've got to rebuild that language structure to find some common ground without setting up with, here's the 200 rules you have to memorize before we can start down a mountain.
Wow.
Right? You sort of have to build it slowly and in stages and have some consistency.
And I like my guides to sort of have some precision, you know, so like I'm not guessing. Like, why don't you do a big left? Like, what does that mean, a big left? Or I had a guide one time say, like, I'm just going to ski behind you, and if you get near a tree, I'll tell you. Like, I'm not crazy about that technique, you know? So I like to have the guesswork sort of eliminated from the day.
Right. Well, there could be advantages too. I mean, you know, the premise of skiing, strapping on some boards and going down a hill is kind of crazy, just from the, you know, thinking about it. But it can be intimidating, and so you don't actually have that intimidation. Like, how big is that mountain, or how steep is it? That intimidation isn't there, right?
I think it's actually worse for me.
You
I think your imagination, when somebody's like, ooh, this is really steep. I don't picture when they say that, you know, a 60-degree slope. I'm picturing that we're looking at an 80-degree slope. I'm Tuckerman's when I hear that.
Oh, right.
Or that, you know, so, and that's almost worse, what you can imagine.
Interesting, yeah. Boy, lots of things to think about. It sounds like you guys are going to have a great time, though, and you've got a great support group and the team. That's what it's all about. And I know you're going to have a great day. Thank you so much for joining us, both of you. We appreciate it. Thanks for joining us. Thank you so much,
Thanks.
Eric. And thanks for stopping in this morning. And we appreciate your time and your inspiration last night at the Rack was definitely going to help a lot of people.
We had a blast.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good rest of the week, too.
Well, enjoy.
All right.
And we are going to take a break.